If you want to make real positive change in your life, this is what you have to remember. Most of your negative patterns, self-sabotage, relationship woes, addictions, insecurities, they're not the result of a poorly trained mind that just needs to be more determined, kind, and patient. It's most often the result of old, stuck pain that your system organizes its behaviors around so that you won't have to feel it. And those behaviors now run your life. Take that in for a moment. Those behaviors now run your life. Just try on the perspective that that's true. What would the implications of that be? Think about how you typically try to make change in your life and how you try to grow. This is how most people do it. They start from like a top-down orientation. Change my thoughts, right? I notice that like I'm really negative, so we try to be more positive. Or I feel like I'm not grateful, I'm grumpy in my relationship, so I try to be more grateful. Feel like I'm really reactive with my kids, so I try to like force myself, grit my teeth, and just try to respond instead of react, right? Top-down approach. It can work. It's not without any merit, right? Changing your thoughts, being a little bit more grateful, trying to be more kind. It's good. It's good. But it's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig. Doesn't get to the underlying thing. And you might be able to will yourself in a different direction for a period of time. Maybe even like carve out some new neural pathways that can make things better. Sure, I'll give you that. There's a place for top-down approaches. But, and not everything is organized by this underlying pain. But in my experience, paying attention to my own mind-body system and working with a lot of mind-body systems over the last 12 to 14 years, most of those really stubborn things that like characterize your most frustrating patterns and relationship dynamics and the things you just like go in loops on in therapy and in your meditation retreat or whatever it might be, it just keeps going, right? That's some underlying pain stuck in time that your system has built layers of protection to distract you from having to feel. And those layers of protection are like become your personality, become how you act, become the things that you do, become the ways that you avoid, become like the speed of your nervous system to keep you from slowing down. Like, if you really take that in, that has huge implications. And so then, right, what's the approach for not taking the top down, like steer the thoughts in a different direction? This is why, like, so much of, if you follow my teachings and my work, you hear me talk about like this word unwind and how like often true transformation is seldom about doing more and adding more thoughts and more routines and more patterns and better habits and more discipline. It's actually more about like subtraction, doing less, creating space for your system to not constantly be engaged in the fear and the tightness that keeps it gripping, that keeps you doing all of those patterns that's trying to prevent you from slowing down enough to feel the thing under the thing, and I don't want to touch it, right? And so I just like stay in my life controlling it for dear life, and that just becomes you, right? And so like when you start giving some space and you start slowing down, you give some presence, you give some warmth into the system, right? Now, instead of like sitting on top of all of those patterns, you actually start to descend into them and through them. And guess what? It's not super comfortable. It might be initially, like if you just spend your life go, and you take a few moments, it's just, oh yeah, feel a little softer or sweet. feels good. And then you're going to hit all the reasons that you were not doing that in the first place. And so you have to confront that. If you don't have the capacity to do that, you don't have the tools or the skills or the learning or the education for how to meet those moments, yeah, it's just going to pop you back up into your old patterns. But this is where, if you know how to cultivate like inner warmth, inner stability, connection to the heart space, well, now you can actually unwind those layers of protection, those parts that grip and organize your life. Let them soften, and then it takes you down to another layer of gripping, and that gets to soften, and another layer, and that gets to soften, till you hit the underlying thing, like that hot ball that everything is organized around. It gets to breathe, it gets to be felt. Right now it's a more adult you, not the young you where that pain initiated. Right, so you have more resources to feel it. You got to go slow, have some boundaries, but it gets to come out, it gets to be felt, it gets to be processed, it gets to be released. You might notice some vibration in the body, you might notice some tension at first, but you'll probably notice that you start breathing more deeply, your chest starts to open, your belly feels soft. And it's like, oh, wow, I had no idea how much my system was holding on and gripping, how much my thoughts, my beliefs, my emotions, my coping, my patterns, my career, all of it was like organized around that thing. And then what's super cool is once it's gone, you have all this new freedom for how you want to orient to your life. You're no longer like held down by this subconscious anchor that just felt like, well, that's just who I am, or I just can't really fix this thing, or I'm kind of a negative person. Maybe, in my experience, most often not. It's just something that hasn't been touched, that hasn't been felt. And when you get to it, and when it finally gets a chance to breathe, decoupled from shame, just like moves through, you become a different person. You have a whole new capacity. Responding versus reacting, it just kind of happens. Patience kind of just happens. The ability to be soft and open in relationship with your partner just kind of happens. The ability to forgive just kind of happens. So take that into consideration on your growth journey, that maybe it's not just all this top-down stuff, like got to be a better thinker, better habits, all this stuff. Maybe there's just something underneath that is causing the whole system to organize in this way. If you want to do that unwinding, that's what we're doing in the new 8-week course, Opening the Heart. All the details are at the link in my bio. Let me know what resonates in the comments or any questions that arise, and I'll try to get back to you. Big love. Take care.